Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to dive into something really important, what it truly means to care for a congregation. We're going to look past the four walls of the church and find some new tools for a ministry that's deeper and, honestly, a lot more effective.
So let me just ask you something right off the bat. When you close your eyes and picture your church community, the people you serve and do life with, what's the first image that comes to your mind? Where are they?
For most of us, I bet it's something like this, right? Everybody gathered in the sanctuary for a Sunday service. And that makes sense. It's the most visible part of church. It's where we see everyone together, fellowship, worship, all happening in one place at one time.
But what if that's just a snapshot, a single frame in a much, much bigger story? What if the reality of your congregation is way more scattered, more complex, and needs a much wider lens to really be seen? And that leads us to our first big idea. We've got to start by redefining what we even mean by the congregation. We have to get our heads around the fact that the flock is scattered. And I mean, just look at this. This really brings it home. You've got members who are homebound, maybe recovering from surgery, or in nursing homes. You have military members deployed overseas, college students hundreds of miles away, and professionals who are always on the road. And what about those who are tuning in online? Or even those who kind of drifted away but are still part of the family? See? The congregation isn't just in the pews. They are absolutely everywhere. Okay, so if the flock is scattered all over the place, how in the world do we care for them? Well, this is where a new tool can be incredibly helpful. Think of it like a deacon's ministry lens. It's like putting on a new pair of glasses that helps us focus our care with real intention. And what's really cool about this lens is how it breaks care down into these 6 actionable parts. It's not just some vague idea. It's about intentional presence, just showing up for people. It's consistent prayer. It's genuine encouragement. But it's also practical stuff like connecting people with resources they need, offering deep spiritual support, and the thing that holds it all together, relationship building. This is our new framework.
All right, with that framework in our back pocket, we can go even deeper. Let's look at a tool that helps us see what's going on beneath the surface to really understand the unique needs of every single person we're trying to care for.
Because this is a big question, isn't it? People are complicated. We can't just assume we know what they're going through. We need a way to see not just what's obvious on the outside, but what might be hidden on the inside. And this is where something called the Johari window is so helpful. It's a model for understanding people. So you have the open area, that's the stuff everybody knows. Our job there is just to build relationships and affirm people. Then there's the blind area, things others see in us that we can't. That's a place for gentle mentoring and guidance. The hidden area, well, that's our private world, the things we keep to ourselves. Ministry there is all about creating safe, trusting spaces where people can actually be vulnerable. And finally, the unknown area. This is untapped potential, and our role there is to help people discover their purpose. So we have our lens for focus and our window for understanding. Now, let's see how this whole toolkit actually works in the real world. Because caring for a teenager is way different than caring for a senior citizen. This is not a one-size-fits-all approach. Okay, let's take teenagers. What are their biggest needs? They're trying to figure out who they are, right? They're dealing with huge peer pressure, and they're searching for a purpose. So our focus has to match that. It's got to be about mentoring, providing some loving accountability, and offering guidance. Now let's shift to adults. The needs change, don't they? They're dealing with leading a family, navigating major life crises and grief, and trying to keep their faith strong for the long haul. So the role adapts. It becomes about shepherding, providing focused crisis care, and helping them mentor the next generation. And listen, these aren't just abstract theories. These are the kinds of real, practical questions we should be asking. Is this person expressing spiritual struggles? Do they need encouragement in their faith? Are they grieving a loss? This is how we turn all this theory into real, tangible relational care. It starts by asking the right questions. So as we start to pull all these pieces together, the scattered flock, the deacon's lens, the Johari window, you start to see that they all point back to one single foundational principle that holds this entire thing together.
And this is it. This is the big takeaway. The congregation is not defined by a building. It's a living, breathing network of people. And what defines it? Relationship, covenant, and active care. That is the church.
And that leaves us with one final thought to carry with us. When you picture your congregation now, with this wider lens, with this deeper understanding, who comes to mind? Who in your flock is out there, waiting for a connection, for a prayer, for a little encouragement, far, far beyond the sanctuary walls?